right now we're in January of 2024, and so I've been compiling my list of movies that are different lists of movies. 1, favorites. 2, discoveries, things from not just 2024 released movies, but just things that I have found, anything miscellaneous. We're drifting of the year and during the year. And then I've got least favorites, honorable mentions, different things. Okay, now I was thinking what order, and then I followed up the thought with, it doesn't matter, let's go least favorite. We'll end with favorites. How about that? Actually, you know what, I think it'd be best to start with movies that I did not see, and there's a lot. I'm turning this heater off. You guys can hear that? I'm turning this heater off. I'm turning the heater off. I'm going to close my door because the cold wind is blowing, and it's coming in, it's drifting in. But listen, so there's a lot of movies that I did not get to, a lot of big movies that I really wanted to see. This year was there. I think it was maybe an all-time low of just all-together movie watching. There was a lot of other things happening, and yeah, so many movies that I just did not get to. So I'm going to say I didn't see Dune Part 2, which I wasn't super excited about. I didn't love the first one. That's just not really my thing, but I didn't see it. I didn't see A Complete Unknown just came out. I didn't see that. I didn't see Saturday Night. I didn't see... let's refer to my list. I didn't see Joy, Netflix original that I wanted to see that I heard good things about. I did not watch Megalopolis still, which I was excited about. It just keeps on pushing. I didn't see it. I wanted to see The Order, Dow Me. I believe it's called documentary. It's Not Me. Also, these 2 movie documentaries. I really wanted to see Close Your Eyes, Exhibiting Forgiveness. This one called Sky Peels, about this like mall worker who thinks his dad was an alien or something, starts to think that his parents were aliens. I wanted to see that. I wanted to see Sebastian, which was a Sundance movie that is about this teen who is like a journalist, and he is researching a story about like, I think just like maybe grinder hookups, equivalent to that, like hooking up with men, and he gets kind of too into it, gets kind of distracted and goes too far into it or something of the sort. Mountains, about a Haitian immigrant in Miami who is a construction worker dealing with being a part of gentrifying his little community. Kneecap, Dee Dee, I am really upset I haven't watched yet. I feel like it would have been on my favorites list. Crossing, Black Box Diaries, Stop Motion, Ghost Light. Nickel Boys I haven't seen, but that's just because it's not playing in theaters yet anywhere near me, as is Not Hard Truths, Mike Lee's one of my favorite directors. I'm extremely excited about this. All We Imagine Is Light also. So there's the ones that just haven't come to theaters yet that are part of the conversation, right? Sing Sing was in theaters. They screwed it. A24 screwed that. And I did not get to see it when it came somewhat near me, but it is coming back to theaters this month in January as I record. And so I will be seeing it at that point, so I didn't. And The Brutalist also. I wanted to see Lee with Kate Winslet. That one's on Hulu, I believe, right now. I will watch that. Armand, that one comes out in January. That's like a January release, I'm counting as, even though it's part of the Oscars. It's a international film submission for the Oscars 2024, so I guess it counts as a 2024 release. It gets a little bit confusing at that point. Daughters, Netflix documentary I wanted to see. My old ass didn't watch that. I never watched Emilia Perez, which heard all that, and I'm curious. I will watch it. Wildcat, Mufasa, probably won't see. There's a lot of these I probably won't see, but just I'm talking big movies that I didn't see. Asphalt City looked interesting. I didn't see it though. Never Let Go, The Devil's Bath. Evil Does Not Exist. I heard great things, didn't watch. The Crow, Monolith was something that looked really interesting. Chicken for Linda, Look Back. That's amongst many other things that I just did not see. The thing occurs where you're waiting for a movie to come out, and then it does come out on VOD, like available to watch at home, and then it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. You know how it is, guys. You know how it is. And let's do least favorite movies. Least favorite of 2024, things that just perhaps were really disappointing, or movies that I just really did not like. So this goes disappointing to really did not like. We started off the year with Night Swim, which was truly one of the worst things I've ever seen, and it was a breaking point for me where I'm just not going to go see any Blumhouse horror movies in theaters. I'd refuse to see that AI movie, Afraid with the AI. Hell no, absolutely not. There's no point. There's no point. You know, if I hear something's good, if I from trusted sources, from multiple people that I align with, then I'll go see it. Like the Wolfman movie that comes out really soon. Like if I hear that's good, I'll go see that. But like Night Swim was just truly one of the worst theater experiences I've ever had. I hated it. It's boring. Nothing. It just was torture. Maxine was extremely disappointing this year, and it hurt. That one actually hurt because there was a lot of hype around that one. And A24, the marketing that they do sometimes really does work, and they do some really fun, creative things. And with that one, they were doing a lot, and it did work because everyone was really excited about it, but it did not deliver. Unfrosted, do I have to say any more? That was bad. This year, I kind of realized I came to a breaking point of why am I even going to try to watch this movie if I know? Sometimes you don't know, and you have to give it a chance to know. But with like a movie like Unfrosted, a Netflix original comedy, something like that, there was another one this year about the kids. What was that one called? Oh, Incoming. I think it was called Incoming, like Incoming Freshman. And that was also really bad. And sometimes you just know, and there's no point to watch Unfrosted. It's actually a waste of time. That's how I think of it now. If I could be watching something that I'm going to hold on to, then why am I even going to watch it? If I guess the reason would be to talk about it on something, but even that at a certain point doesn't even seem worth it, because what could I even say about Unfrosted? It went in one side, came out the other, nothing was retained, and Jesus Christ. House of Spoils ended up being really disappointing. This one was Ariana DeBose, and it just kind of went down a really typical path. It started out interesting, and as it went, lost, and in the end, it was an eye-rolly experience of tropey trope. Amber Alert also was just like a straight-to-VOD, a remake, actually. A remake of a movie that I did watch back in the day, but it wasn't really the same thing. It just has... Is this even a remake? I remember I made a video about this movie, and I think on IMDb it definitely does say it was a remake, but the original one, which came out in like 2010s, it was like a couple that were driving and they saw the car that was on the Amber Alert. They followed it, but it was not the same thing at all. I guess just the beginning premise was the only thing, and the name. So I don't think that's a remake, sweetheart. I don't know. I that doesn't really count. There are also like the Netflix things like A Family Affair with Joey King. Joey King, I'll always watch her Netflix original movies because I actually love them. There's two sides. There's an Unfrosted, something that is just so bad that it's bad and not fun, and there's nothing to it. And then there's like A Family Affair where it's so bad that it is entertaining and it's fun and I love it. Another Joey King movie is on my favorites list that falls into this category, and I had so much fun with it that I have no choice to put it on my favorites list because I loved it. It's about the experience for me. I'm not judging the movie on if it's a good movie or not, sweetheart. Suncoast was like a pretty forgettable movie. Here, it kind of falls in the category of just a there movie, things that I really liked about it, but then other things really dragging it down, where initially coming out from the movie, I liked it because I liked a lot about it, and it kind of evened out the things that were cringing me the hell out, but now it kind of soured upon looking back, and I don't really have fond thoughts of it anymore. Because those other elements of it it pulled me down too much. But I think it was an interesting concept, and I liked the fact that it exists. I like the fact that it exists and it's trying something new with the format. But it could have gone so much higher. Snack Shack I was excited about because it was from the director of Dinner in America, a movie that I really, really liked. Kyle Gallner resurgence happened this year. That was this year. Kyle Gallner, he's been doing a lot. Smile 2, he was in... Wait, what was the... Oh, Strange Darling. Oh, I didn't put that on any of my lists. I guess that one kind of falls in. I liked that one, but looking back, it does sour. Sometimes you can... There's either... You see the reception of a movie and you think, oh, well, did I like that or should I not have liked that? But then also there's... Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point, and it kind of lets you view the movie a little bit differently, and that could sour the experience. But I did like Strange Darling, and I still do like it. I just can understand both sides of it. But Snack Shack, follow up to Dinner in America, director Dinner in America, I thought was cringy as hell in dialogue. The female love interest character, I really didn't like this movie. It had a really cringy energy to it for me. Like, we're funny, we're cool, and it bugged me. Skincare was just there. I liked Elizabeth Banks in this. I liked the concept of this Los Angeles, Hollywood, competing dermatologists. That was really an interesting concept, but it went totally off the rails. It kept getting way too complicated. At the end of the day, it had completely lost me. Apartment 7A, Rosemary's Baby prequel, completely unnecessary, brought nothing, and was boring. I liked the production design, but yeah, there's not too much to say about that one. I'll also say Salem's Lot, the Max original, was just really, really bad. I didn't know the way it moved way too quick. I think there was issues behind the scenes. There actually absolutely were issues behind the scenes with like having to cut things. Don't Move was produced by Sam Raimi, a Netflix original. The gimmick was like this girl, she's trying to escape from a serial killer played by Finn Wittrock, and she absolutely can't move, okay? She was injected with something, and she is stuck. But that wasn't really the case throughout the whole movie. It was just kind of like a chunk of it. But it had this emotional... I'm so sorry, but when you got this angle of, like, dead child grieving, trying to move on from that and overcoming that in like a situation where you have to fight for survival, and that's going hand in hand. It's tired. Wicked, I didn't think I was gonna like going in. I wasn't going in wanting to hate it. I didn't know much about Wicked. I knew the big songs, but I thought that it looked bad from just material, just like the actual look of the movie, the drowned out lighting of it all, and just watching it, I felt all of that. I also didn't really care too much about what was happening on the screen, about the story itself, but most of all, I just thought it looked bad, and I thought the dances were orchestrated it blocked the way it was filmed. It was the way the movie was filmed, okay? The effects, the CG of it all was so horrible. There was the moment where she was running in the field at the beginning, and this complete shock to the system of what in the hell how I thought, what in the hell how did we get to this point, and how was it passed? And you think a huge movie like this, nothing should look that bad. And also, I just can recall the specific moment where they were holding that little cub guy out of the cage, and oh Jesus Christ, the way it was moving. And that shouldn't be grounds to like really hate a movie just from things like that, but it was a mixture of things. I didn't care. I wasn't emotionally invested. I thought it looked bad, and I thought it was a little boring in the middle. Okay. Street Trash was very disappointing. I love the original movie. I think it is like, will always stand as like one of the true cult classic movies, and just a New York movie showing a certain specific time and place in New York. It's grimy, dirty, gross, and this one failed on all levels. It was kind of trying to do a different thing, like a future world, and they tried to make kind of expansive world building thing that just didn't work, I guess, for the budget of it, which the guy who directed it, he made Fried Berry, which I really liked. It was grimy and gross, and this one just didn't carry that. There was grimy gross in this. It kind of is in the category I'd place with like a Greasy Strangler. Greasy Strangler, there's those movies that just make you feel really gross. It kind of plays Fried Berry with that. And this one, it did not work. The humor of it, so far from something that I'm into. It wasn't funny. The characters were pissing me off. They were annoying. They were bothering me, and I was disconnected all the way through. And its thing was like with Street Trash, you go in expecting to be really gory, gross out moments with the effects, and it was attempting to do something there. It wasn't nothing. There was something to it, but at the same time, it was just uninteresting story, character stuff. I didn't even want to see, and then it was just kind of intercut with extended gory, slimy death scenes, and it just started to become very repetitive in those too. It was just the same thing happening, bubbles forming, popping, melting, but just not anywhere touching the original. Magpie I was really excited about, starring Daisy Ridley, who I really like, who I am rooting for Daisy Ridley. Sometimes I Think About Dying also, it would count as a 2024 release. I saw that at Sundance virtually like 2 years ago, I think it was, but it came out this year. I liked that one. I thought it had an interesting tone to it, and I thought she was really good. She was my favorite part of that movie. And I want her to win. I want something big for her because I think she's a really good actor. But Magpie, one of those movies where a twist kind of makes the whole movie, it's something that you could never revisit again, right? It kind of makes it a moot point, and also a twist when something's revealed. You know those movies where something's revealed, a twist, and it has the energy of, yeah, we did that. That just occurred. Yeah, sweetheart. That is what's happening right now. And we will leave you with that because we're cutting to credits. And the music was like, baby, 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 you're out of time. I said, baby, babe. And when you hear that song, you think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Sometimes you can associate a song with a movie that did it so perfectly and you can't touch it. Don't touch it anymore. Sorry. And sometimes you notice that, like a resurgence of a song being used in something like from Black Mirror. Oh, no. I knew it. Listen, from Waves, that song that was like, what a difference a day made, 24 little hours. I just heard it in a movie, and I feel like it's been something that movie gets a song gets it works in a movie, and then people keep on using it, or I don't know what it has to do with something in the. But yeah, that movie, she was really good in that, but it didn't work. It was very slow moving, and the reveal was painful and cringy. Subservience, Megan Fox as a Megan, a Megan like robot AI wife replacement, bad. Hostile Dimensions, that one's like a really, really low budget sci-fi movie that I don't want to actually talk really bad about because it was trying to do something with very little, and I think on some certain levels it succeeded, but mostly it was a very painful experience for me. I think it was due to a lot of the acting and the dialogue. Actually, a lot of it didn't really make much sense to me. Crumbcatcher falls in the category of extremely disappointing. I was very excited about this. It had a poster can truly pull you in and make you so excited about a movie. And this one had such a cool poster that was like, one of my favorite categories of movie poster is little photo shoot, something created specifically for poster. And it just like a lot of work goes into that, the creativity of it, and just the look. I love the look of that. But this one had a very interesting concept. This couple goes on their little honeymoon. They're freshly married, and this guy shows up who was actually at the wedding, and he's kind of weird. He's very off-putting, but he wants to pitch them this invention that he has called the crumb catcher. And then from there, secrets get exposed. It started off very interesting, and I still think interesting concept, but it lost its footing for sure as it went. Cora Bora was really excited about. Meg Stalter, I love her. She was leading this movie. Just very standard, like 30-something trying to figure out their life. There wasn't really too much to write home about except for Meg Stalter being present, and also Aiden Mayeri, who I love, one of my favorite comedians, actresses, who was also in Jackpot this year, which should be here. I didn't put it on my list, but it was definitely here. I actually had like fun with that one as it was happening. I thought that one was fun. I like Aiden Mayeri a lot, and she was in that, so she elevated that movie for sure. That wasn't good, but it was something. It was entertaining. Spread, the Tubi original with Liz Gillies, was extremely painful and actually sad. Like you could see within the eyes of the actors Harvey Keitel was in this, and you could tell he smelled so bad when they were close. I'm so sorry, but he seemed like he was in a different movie. There's a specific scene that I actually had to pause. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. I need you guys to watch that. Spread. Liz Gillies, like, gets cut off and has to find a job. Is that what happened? And she ends up having to work at this, like, porn production company, and kind of comes up with her own ideas, steps in and kind of turns it around, and Harvey Keitel's like the boss guy, and it's just pretty shocking movie. It's pretty shocking. Daddy's Head, I heard great things about, but I just did not connect with it. I thought it was very Babadookian and just not really coming close, not really bringing anything new to the table. The Creature, I heard, that's so scary, but it didn't do anything for me. Chestnut, starring Natalia Dreyer. I didn't hate this one, but it was a bit disappointing. It's a fairly standard coming of age, discovering yourself post college, moving back home post college, but with like a kind of a love triangle spin to it, to kind of pretty complicated characters. Actually, this would be like in the middle. This one was okay. The friend, though, the Natalia Dreyer friend in the movie, oh Jesus Christ, the acting. If you watch that, well, actually, I don't even need to tell you. You'll know. Sometimes I feel bad saying things like that because I put myself in that situation of if I know if I was trying to be in a movie and to watch it back, who knows? And once you do it, it's out there, it's too late. So if I heard someone saying, oh my God, that was so bad, it would really destroy me. So I feel bad saying that. But I think, what are the odds that this actor would be here? And I'm sure he's growing, and he's made movies since, and he can look back on that and think, wow, I've come a long way. All right, favorite movies of 2024. I have a Letterboxd list of 62 movies, so I'm just going to move through. And the order of them, as it goes down, it kind of just gets whatever. There's like top, I don't know, like 10 or something, and then we can just whatever, and we'll start with those ones. I really liked Oddity. That one, it was really great theater going experience that I had, like, alone in the theater, and I was scared. And I just thought it was a really creative, fun, little twisty ghost movie. Yannick, another Quentin Dupieux movie. He comes out with numerous movies throughout the year. This one was very entertaining, like a one location piece in this theater where this guy doesn't like the performance at a theater happening, and he kind of stands up and makes it all about him, getting everyone involved, taking it for hostage. Sperm World, not a movie, but Lance Oppenheim, he had two things come out this year, Sperm World and Ren Fair. Anyway, I think it was just called Ren Fair, but I really, really greatly enjoy his style of documentary filmmaking. It's very cinematic. It has a very specific look to it. I highly recommend Some Kind of Heaven. Yeah, about like this Florida, I think it's in Florida, this huge retirement community. That one, loved. And Sperm World, actually, I think Sperm World was a movie. It was Ren Fair was the one that was like a series, but Sperm World, I think, was just a one-time thing. But Sperm World is about different people who donate sperm and kind of following them and their reasons for doing so, and in that discovering a lot of interesting, strange characters in this. Yeah, and also just an interesting world that I didn't know anything about, and that's what you want in a documentary, right? To learn something. I like those documentaries, something weird. That guy, that tickled-esque. To say tickled-esque. Memoir of a Snail, I didn't end up loving. It didn't really emotionally connect with me, but I can't deny everything that it does have going for it. The animation is absolutely beautiful. I think it's very cool that movies like this are being made, that he's been given the resources to, and that was able to be seen in theaters. With that, I Saw the TV Glow is just something I want to revisit again. I still only saw it once, and I came away enjoying the world that I entered. Not enjoying is not the right word, because that movie's like extremely depressing and dark. It leaves you, you're not floating away, okay, at the end of the movie. You're slunched. Is that a word? You're slunched over. I'm slunched, and I am crawling into my bed to think on that for the night. Thank you. But the dialogue in that movie was really pushing me away throughout the entire thing. There were some really incredible scenes in that movie and visuals, but the dialogue was really killing me, and I wasn't able to be one with these characters. Both The Apprentice and A Different Man, both Sebastian Stan movies of the year standouts. I enjoyed. A Different Man didn't hold me all the way through as it went. Some of the directions that it went in, I didn't really like, but there's an undeniable voice there and importance in the message of the movie itself and what it's exploring. And I think Adam Pearson is really truly amazing, and I love the cast in that movie. I like Sebastian Stan a lot too, and just the movies that he's choosing to make, and the different directors he's working with, but also Renate Rensve from The Worst Person in the World. I love her, and I think she's so good in that movie. The cast, the three players there are so good. And Adam Pearson, that's a conversation I saw with the Golden Globes where it's like, well, why not just nominate Adam Pearson? If we're saying here, we need to be more inclusive, and, with what we're exploring in the movie, if we're going to recognize Sebastian Stan, we're going to recognize Adam Pearson, because he's quite a screen presence and a personality. Between the Temples is a really fun little character piece with Jason Schwartzman and Carol Kane. I think them together, there's a really something to watch, their chemistry. And I just thought it was a really fun, little, quirky movie. Woman of the Hour, Anna Kendrick's directorial debut, rocked my world. I loved that. I think she took that in a very interesting direction and different from a lot of the serial killer movies that we're used to. A different perspective. Rebel Ridge, I really liked. The performance from Aaron Pierre, really rocked my world. And I love Green Room and Blue Ruin director Jeremy Saulnier. Yeah. This was a unexpected take from something that we all thought was going to be more action-packed, but I liked that about it. Okay, and back to Joey King. Uglies. Yeah, sweetheart. Uglies. I love this movie. It was so extremely Divergent era, Hunger Games era core, something that could have easily come out that year. If you show someone that doesn't really know much about movies and say, do you remember this one from 2013, 2011? They would say, oh my God, yeah, absolutely. I just love that it exists, and I love what they tried to do here, and every second of it is just baffling in the best way possible. I loved this. These are the kind of movies I love, like Kissing Booth, where it's shocking and you think the people making the movie in the moment, it must be so fun, because they are in on this, right? They are in on the joke, correct? The Hypnosis, this one from Denmark, it went straight to Mubi, or it came to Mubi in the US, was so in the core of Place It With, Sick of Myself, Uncomfortable, Awkward Social Situations, the movie. Herbert Nordrum from The Worst Person in the World is in this, and he's really great too. I like him. But essentially, a young couple, before they go to this like sales pitch conference, the girlfriend, she goes into this hypnosis session so she can quit smoking, but it has adverse effects, and she loses all her social, the barrier of what's acceptable and what's not goes away, and she just completely in social situations, she doesn't hold back anything, and it's very uncomfortable to watch. And what it does to the boyfriend, I really loved this movie. I really love this, and I highly recommend it. It's What's Inside came to Netflix this year. This one was at Sundance, and it was a huge Sundance hit, and Netflix bought it for like a ridiculous amount of money. And I was very excited about this one. To say the least about it as possible going into it, it's definitely one of those. I loved this so much. It's a group of friends who haven't seen each other in a long time, or at least some of them, college friends. They come together, and one of the people shows up unexpectedly with a little invention that he's been working on. But this little invention allows them to kind of, their conscience to switch around to different bodies, Freaky Friday style. And things go awry, complications arise, secrets, lies, and I love that, the drama of it all. But what really got me about this movie was the editing style of it, the way it's constructed. It's so fast-paced, fast-moving, has quite an energy that I loved. His Three Daughters also came to Netflix. That one was extremely emotional. Felt like a play. Was it based on a play? It could have possibly been. It was the Natasha Lyonne, Carrie Coon, Elizabeth Olsen dealing with their dying dad in the apartment, and they've come together. There's a little bit of distance between them, some tension between them that definitely comes to the surface throughout, but I just thought the performances were really, really great. And for like a one location little piece like this, it really struck. Stress Positions, John Early is the star of this, and say no more, because John Early is one of my favorite people in the entire world. Directed by Theda Hamill. This one is a pandemic era. It's one of those pandemic era movies, but that works in this case comedically and on all levels. I just thought this one had a really interesting energy to it, and for a first feature, there's a voice there to watch out for. I placed Dogleg also around here. Al Warren, he stars in this. It's kind of vignettes, different little Los Angeles vignettes. And going back, speaking of John Early, actually, Jacqueline Novak, her special Get on Your Knees was dropped on Netflix, and that was extremely funny. I don't watch a lot of stand-up specials, but I love this one. I just love Jacqueline Novak too. I'm a Poogster. Not Poog anymore. I'm a Berlanti Novakster. Okay, I'm going through so many movies. I should have condensed the list of favorites. Problemista's here. I really like Julio Torres, and I really liked his debut feature, starring in and directing, and that's a feat in itself, and I thought he's really funny in it. I love that he got Tilda Swinton here, and I think it's a really cool exploration of the immigrant experience, and it has that quirky, colorful, shapy Julio Torres touch. He also had his show Fantasmas that came out on HBO, and oh my god, that was good. We need another season of that. That gave birth so many iconic moments. That lady, she's a comedian. I followed her on Instagram. She's really funny, where she was an actress, where that one little scene storyline where she was like social media influencer / actress, but she was running her own fan page. Oh my god, that was an all-timer. And then the Alexa Demi office worker one. Yeah. Janet Planet was beautiful exploration of mother-daughter relationship. Troubled mother from the daughter's perspective. That had a really magical moment. Really, really, truly, like, all-time musical moment running through the mall. A 90s era mall. That transcended me to something. Humanist Vampire Seeking a Consenting Suicidal Person was a very refreshing vampire story. The Contestant was a very interesting documentary that came to Hulu about a real-life game show that happened where this guy won. He didn't really know what he was doing, but basically he was trapped in this room for, I think, a year. 15 months, okay? And he had to, like, send for things with little contests on like magazines. It's pretty one of those unbelievable documentaries, and I thought it was really well done. Thelma was very funny, very cute. I really, really enjoyed this. A feel-good, one of the feel-good films of the year. Riddle of Fire was a really cute children's fantasy movie. Essentially, these kids their mom is sick, and they have to go get ingredients because she wants a blueberry pie. And so they kind of go on this adventure, and it's a fantasy adventure kind of from their perspective. It's in the dangerous world. I love the way this movie looks. It has that timeless look to it. There is a shot on film grain. It is shot on film, and it's very fun. The feeling that the time for doing something has passed is an interesting exploration of BDSM relationships. Very comical look at such. a little vignette style to this one too. Joanna Arno, she wrote and directed and stars in this movie, and I think Sean Baker was a producer on it. Dad and Stepdad was so extremely funny. This one stars Colin Burgess, who also Free Time this year I enjoyed. I put them together both on my favorites list actually. The Vordelak was a great Halloween time watch this year. A classic story of the Vordelak that has been seen in film history. This had a great atmosphere to it, and the creature design is unforgettable. Substance is here. I liked this one less on a second watch, but I still really, really enjoyed it and can appreciate so much about it. It's a crazy movie, and I can't really add anything to the discussion of the movie. Okay, what am I missing from like below top? Mads, the zombie movie, I really enjoyed that one. A good one, another debut feature that was quiet but powerful. Very Kelly Reichardt-esque. I enjoyed that one. I liked Conclave quite a bit. I just thought it was the whole idea of it, what it was showing us, was very interesting, but then the drama of it, the drama within, it was an extremely entertaining watch and also very nice to look at. The First Omen 2, that one was a big surprise. I've watched the opening of that movie so many times. The beginning to the music happening at the beginning of that movie, the intro of Nell Tiger Free and the driving around and the production design of that movie and some of the shots in that were very surprising, from just not what to expect from this Omen prequel movie. This Closeness was a movie watch that I really, really loved. Kit Zauer, she directed this, and she also stars in it, about this couple who goes to an Airbnb, and the other guy that's in there running it kind of offsets the relationship. First time female director, I thought was so funny. It's so extremely funny. This is another one just with some comedians of our time. Kate Berlant is here, and I love Kate Berlant. She's one of my favorite people ever. Chelsea Peretti directed this. She also stars in. We've got a lot of people like Meg Stalter's here too. People pop up. Amy Poehler, Tim Heidecker, Jordan Peele does pop up as they're married. But it's kind of mockumentary style. Think like a Waiting for Guffman kind of deal. I just thought this was very funny. I really liked this. It's a Tubi original, by the way. Okay, let's do it. Favorite movies, top favorite movies of the year. We can go The Becomers. This was also like a pandemic era movie about these shape-shifting body snatcher kind of aliens that are a couple, and they come down and they kind of find each other, but we're following them as they navigate the world, the earth. Think Under the Skin kind of deal. It took that alien on Earth viewing humanity thing and did something very interesting with it, so I think it stands high. Chime by Kiyoshi Kurosawa was very disturbing movie, and one that the way it revealed itself as it went really got under my skin. Yeah, I don't want to say too much about this one. I mean, I don't feel like I can't. What I would say is it's about a chef teacher that works at this school, and one of his students says, "Do you hear that? There's a noise happening, a chime of sorts." The teacher's like, "Sweetheart, I don't hear anything." And I gotta hear him say more. And then there's an inciting incident of violence in the classroom, and the guy's life begins to unravel. There you go. Hundreds of Beavers rocked my world this year. A nonstop barrage of jokes, of gags, physical comedy jokes, Looney Tunes things, Looney Tunes-esque. Oh, I keep saying esque in this. I'm saying esque. But it's one of those things where for me, like, it took a little bit to get used to. It's black and white, but it has this very low budget look style to it. But when the jokes start hitting and it really starts to just go for it, it's actually unbelievable. It's actually unbelievable, and how much work you can see that went, and passion, and just how much fun you could tell they were having as they put this together. It shows, and it's not like a you had to be there kind of thing. You're in on it too. They're in on it too, and there's some really, really funny moments in this. I loved this. It's a total put on for the whole family or friends. Sit around and laugh. Baby Girl really surprised me this year. I was excited about it, but it wasn't what I expected in the best way possible. I think it's very interesting what it explores and the way it's coming at these characters and not like demonizing them, kind of open-endedness of choices that characters make and the exploration of desires and power. And there's actually a lot going on, power dynamics in the workplace, but also just with the Nicole Kidman character and her sexuality and repressed desires and finally releasing those, and that exploration not being able to help it and the shame around that. I thought it was very interesting. I really liked it. I really liked it, and I loved the score and the way it looked. Family Portrait is a very interesting little movie, a little puzzle of a movie that I would kind of say it's akin to like a Krisha, Trey Edward Schultz Krisha, a family gathering together to take a family portrait. But then in this movie's case, reality kind of starts to fall apart, and it turns into more of a nightmare scenario where dream logic, okay, the movie turns into a dream logic storyline, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's not what I thought it was going to be. The story's starting to kind of fall apart. The strings, the threads kind of separating was very unexpected for me, and it has a tone, a very specific off-putting tone. There's a tension throughout. The camera's gliding around. This really, really worked for me. Bertrand Bonello's The Beast. Yeah, sweetheart. Yes. This one has left quite an impact on me. It is a world-jumping, reality-jumping movie where this couple continues to find each other in different worlds, realities. There we go. Times, realities, worlds. And once it's a pretty long movie. Some of the little segments, we'll say, are more engaging than others, but by the end, the time we've spent with them and this magnetic pull that we see happen again and again, and them as different people but the same person at the core, right? Or different they're different characters, same actor, but the way it all comes together, it comes to a head, the climax. It has such an emotional punch for me. It's scary, actually, like goosebumps. Rumors. I need water. Oh my God, something. Rumors, directed by Guy Madden, Evan Johnson, and one more person. Yeah. Galen Johnson. Evan Johnson, Galen Johnson, I believe they're brothers. This movie was so funny to me, and the way it looked, Jesus Christ. Okay. Guy Madden's done some very interesting things. He's kind of cut together. He made one called The Green Fog, where he cut together movies set in San Francisco to kind of create his own movie. Something stuck, guys. I've been talking and something hurts. I think I'm getting sick. I feel I'm getting sick. And I'm scared. I don't know what is that. But the 7 leaders of the world come together for a summit, and bog zombie monsters emerge, and they must fight for survival. The goal of going there was to like draft a statement because there's some kind of a crisis happening in the world. But of course the plans change and they must band together, and the dialogue here, the way everyone's talking to each other is very, very funny. It's a very quirky movie. It's not that serious. It's actually not serious at all. It's a more comedy than anything. It's comedy, horror, satire is what it is, and it worked for me. And just the look of it, I'm telling you, the foggy out in the forest marshlands. It's so many beautiful colors happening. The glow of lights, the yellows hue off the lake, the yellow hue rising off the lake. Flow is such a beautiful, animated, fun for the whole family movie adventure. I just absolutely loved this. It emotionally hit me so very hard. It was scary, actually scary, like in danger. Okay, so essentially we're in like a post-apocalyptic world, or we don't know too much. You can kind of piece together what's happening, but there's a cat and there's a flood and the cat, there's a boat, and a bunch of different animals kind of come together to survive. And it's that journey that brings them together and teaches them a lot of lessons. There's no talking in this. It's just a very, the sounds, the atmosphere created. We don't need talking, and thank God there isn't. It's just real animal noises, and oh my God, scary, and just like danger, because you really don't know what's going to happen to any of them, if any of them are safe. And so it is this very thrilling movie, but there's so many beautiful moments in just the world created here with nature, the course, the flow of nature, right? That's where we come in with the title, the flow of everything working together, the constant flow, and just the moving of the earth. And also some little like fantastical moments, unexpected little moments here. Red Rooms. This one got quite a lot of attention just right at the end of the year, because I think it just came out at the end of the year. But serial killer. The whole thing here is the title. The quote that's been pushed with this movie is "Out Finchers David Fincher," and that's kind of like, really, just that line is like, come on. Think about that line. Think about that line. But this movie rocks, okay? It is extremely disturbing. I would call it a horror, more like psychological thriller, though. It is French Canadian. It's about this model who is obsessed with this case, or just true crime. But what I love about this movie, the central character is mysterious throughout the entire thing, and we don't ever get everything on her. We can learn things about her throughout and kind of question what her intent is, and there's a mystery there. But she has this obsession with this case that's happening, and kind of she's very savvy on the computer. She does online gambling, and she has kind of access. You think she's trying to kind of solve this case that's happening. She's also going to the court to watch it as it happens in real time, and she just gets very involved in it. And there's some other outside sources, like there's some other perspectives, like this other girl, like a Manson girl type character who believes that the guy's innocent, and she kind of gets involved in the main girl's world. And yeah. It takes some very like disturbing, what the hell is happening here? What is the intent? Turns, and it kind of explores our interest in true crime, and in kind of inserting ourselves and our like separation of reality from these things, desensitization. Sean Baker's Honora. This was such an exciting release. I was very much so looking forward to it. And Sean Baker is one of my favorite directors. I was very intrigued to see what Sean Baker's biggest budget movie would look like, and just more, everything about it is just more big, and still, of course, feels like a Sean Baker movie in like every sense. But to see him working with more is very interesting. And I loved this movie so much. A heartbreaking movie, but also a very fun, entertaining, funny movie all together. The Mikey Madison performance will stand in the history of the Hall of History frame pictures, in the Hall of Performances of Luca Guadagnino's Challengers. We rewatched this numerous times. Technically, I love the way this movie looks. I love the way it sounds. I love the score. I love the energy. I love the way it's constructed. Okay, the bounce back and forth as a tennis ball does. The performances, the actors involved, did I say energy? The energy in many senses, the way it moves, and then just the sexual energy of it. It's a very sexy movie, very complicated characters, not easy to solve. Okay, no, who's in the right, who's in the wrong? That's not what it's about. We're just exploring them. Love Lies Bleeding. Yeah, I love Kristen Stewart so much. I truly, truly love her so much. And this movie... This movie is beautiful. Beautiful, dark, horny. I really, really love this movie. Little magical, little dreamlike, cosmic, transitionary scenes happening, and also some unexpected unexpected breaking away from form moments that I really loved. And the whole ending, like the end credits, that totally elevates the movie for me. I love little touches like that. Oh my god, my throat. No, seriously, I think my throat just from talking so much. Yeah, guys. And I'm cold. What the hell? I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I'm getting so tired. See, I don't lie. What time is it? 6. Oh my god, guys. Oh my god, guys. Time's been flying as I started doing this. Time's been flying. It's dark now. And I feel like I missed something in my favorites because I'm at number 1 right now. La Chimera, that wasn't a 2024 release, was it? It was total 2023, right? I love La Chimera. That would definitely be here if so. Could we put it here then? Oh my god, 2 Josh O'Connor movies right here in the top 5. I don't care. Why not? But my number 1 favorite movie of the year, a movie that connected with me so heavily that I just loved and can watch at any moment, Christmas Eve in Miller's Point. Oh, the connection it made with me. The way I flied through this movie. The soundtrack, the atmosphere, Christmas atmosphere here. Oh god, the soundtrack. I love it. Okay, listen. Something about me. A soundtrack full of 1960s pop hits. Yeah, American Graffiti, Dusty and Sweets McGee, something like this. I look for those, I search for those, and they do something for me. Musically driven movies, okay? Where it's not a musical, but music is really like paving the way through. Oh my god. And it's not just that. This movie emotionally connects with me. We've got a family coming together in New Jersey on Christmas Eve, and just we're flowing along. We are hanging out. There isn't too much of a story to this. It's Robert Altman-esque in that sense. We're just kind of following different characters. There is no really main character, but in that, it creates such a specific atmosphere. It really captures just a specific little snapshot of memories from this family, and that you can apply to yourself too. Okay, because there's a lot that harkens to just the classic Christmas. And Tyler Tarmina directed this, who I really love. I loved Ham on Rye and Happer's Comet, his 2 previous movies. Ham on Rye is like a suburban, surreal, dreamlike, coming-of-age movie that really worked for me. And this movie, Christmas Eve in Miller's Point, definitely has some of those same surreal moments. It branches off a couple times that I think really, really works. Just some like weird little things that almost make it seem otherworldly that I really, really love. And those are like my favorite movies. Oh my god, I also just saw, because I see right here on my notification, someone liked your review of Queer. I just watched Queer today, and I definitely think that makes like my, I don't know, top 10. I mean, so I just, what I feel in the moment. I'm being so definitive about it. But it's definitely in here. I really, really enjoyed Queer. It was a transcendent experience. Now, we're not done, because we have some honorable mentions that we will do. Things that I'm just going to run through them really quick. Things I didn't hate, didn't love. They were just kind of there. Smile 2, Cuckoo, Longlegs, The Outrun, Saoirse Ronan's The Outrun, starring Civil War, Nosferatu, Maria, Caddo Lake, Kinds of Kindness, The Sweet East, The Front Room, Drift, Gasoline Rainbow, In a Violent Nature, Hitman. I guess that's all I had there in that list. Now, as for my favorite discoveries of the year, as I said, it was a low movie watching year for me this year, but there were definitely things that I watched thanks to a mix of things, just randomly finding something, maybe playing it on a streaming service or from a podcast. And I would definitely thank Pure Cinema Podcast for probably a lot of these discoveries that I also discovered, like The Adjuster from 1991, Adam Egoyan. This one, it really, really took me aback. Very frightening in atmosphere and total surreal, dreamlike movie that I don't know how quite to make sense of, but it really makes me want to watch more of his movies, like Exotica. Exotica, I've heard, is like his best one, but it almost has like a Lynchian quality to it, of unsettling people acting in very unsettling ways. Last Summer from 1969, Frank Perry directed. Barbara Hershey's here. I think it's her first like on-screen role. This movie was very disturbing, about a trio of friends, and during the summer in a beach house neighborhood, and a third girl enters the picture, like a more nerdy girl, and just a combination of all the repressed energy and everything kind of explodes in violence. Before Between the Temples came out, I watched a couple of Nathan Silver's movies. Thirst Street I thought was really funny, about this girl who becomes obsessed with this guy and she can't really take the hint. It's a very uncomfortable movie. And then also Exit Elena, which I think is his first movie, or one of. I loved. It's very low budget, kind of about this like live-in nurse that comes to stay with this older woman and like the daughter and the husband. And I think Nathan Silver, it's his mom who's playing the mom character, and she's so funny. She is so funny because you can tell it's all improvised, but I love the interactions in this movie so much. It's a very cute little movie. Peter Bogdanovich's They All Laughed has that Altman energy to it that I love so much, where we're just kind of hanging out, drifting around with characters. And it's very funny. There's music, or musically charged. What else can I say? The Birthday was a huge discovery for me this year, and one of like I think like my number one favorite discovery of the year. Directed by Eugenia Mita from 2004, Corey Feldman starring. This is a true classic cult movie that was unearthed this year, I think, by Draft House Films. Yeah, it premiered at one of the festivals, the Restoration, but you couldn't find it anywhere. It was very low quality. It never really got released in theaters. We are following Norman, played by Corey Feldman, in a hotel, and they're holding a birthday party there. I think it's like it takes place in a different time, like the 60s or something. As I recall, I think it does take place in like the 60s. Yeah. But he's at this party. He's very socially awkward. We're drifting around with him, and he kind of comes to find that there's a cult, a doomsday cult, kind of taking over the hotel behind the scenes, waiting for a sacrifice to happen to unleash the god. And it's such a weird movie. It's a very, very strange movie with a mix of different tones, but it stays playful throughout, but it also has not without its dark moments. The Telephone Box, a short film that was kind of big, I think, in Spain. Like there's a little telephone box statue somewhere in the capital. But it plays kind of like a Twilight Zone episode. I don't want to say too much about this because I really urge to watch, because it's not too much of a commitment. But basically, a man drops off his son at the bus stop. He gets into a telephone booth to make a call. The phone doesn't work. The door shuts behind him. He can't open the door. He's locked inside. The townspeople gather. They're laughing. They're witnessing. They are watching as people, the police, other people try to come and open the door. And then we take a turn, we'll say. So those were my discoveries of the year. That was everything. There's definitely things that I for sure missed. For sure. Because sometimes throughout the year, Letterboxd, I don't stay. There'll be movies that slip through the cracks where I mean to log them after the fact, but then I just don't and I forget. And so it's like I can't search the memory box. Things disappear. They go through the cracks. I did watch Andrea Arnold's Bird, and I really enjoyed that one. But thank you guys for watching or for listening. If you're just doing that, feel free to comment anything, what your favorite movies were. And I'll see you on the next one.